All right, lads. This is the eminent and amazing Sukie Baxter. If you have not followed what Sukie does on YouTube with her deep dives into the nervous system and beyond, you should. As many of you know, through Horse Boy Method, Movement Method and our other things, we are very much people concerned with getting an ameliorative, a beneficial effect on the nervous system, not just the brain. So we're always looking for mentorship. Here is a mentor. So Sukie's going to work the amazing Hidalgo here in a bit of pattern 1A, which is this interesting hybrid between the shoulders in and the leg yield in the circle, and it's a sort of fundamental building block pattern for bringing the inside hind leg under the point of gravity. Those of you who've gone through some of our other courses know we have another pattern for the outside hind leg. So there are things which I know about these patterns in terms of horse training and building strength and flexibility and so on, but Sukie's looking at it through a very, very different lens, and she was pointing out some things, some benefits to me with this that I frankly didn't know about, and I thought, my gosh, why am I just getting this? I need to be sharing this with you all. So Sukie, would you be so kind as to work the horse in a bit of a pattern 1, and could you tell us what you were telling me about strength and flexibility and these strange things called adductors, which sounds like a sort of electronic term to me. Is that like a sort of conductor or something?
Yeah.
Let me not get in the way anymore. If you could do your thing and explain to us what's going on, this would be of great benefit to us all.
Yes, as I'm learning this, I will attempt to talk and work at the same time. But so I'm going to ask Hidalgo to come forward, and then I'm going to have him step under with this inside hind leg. And so as he's moving his hind legs, they're stepping inside to outside, right? And so this is only the pattern 1. There's other patterns as well. And we're getting most of the movement here on the hind leg that's on the same side as me, so his left hind. But what's happening is that as he's moving his legs under himself, he's using the adductor muscle group, which humans have as well. It's just a name for a group of muscles on the inside of the thigh, or the horses have it on the inside of their hind legs, that bring the leg closer to the midline. And then he's also stretching the outside of the hip, which are your abductors, abductors. So you have adductors and abductors. Not so important to remember those terms, and it's just a general name for the muscles. There are specific muscles in those groups. But Rupert and I were talking about this, and I was saying that having done a lot of body work on horses, they can tend to be quite tight in their hip joint, around their sacrum, and then that of course affects the health of their back and the quality of their movement. And as I've watched this horse move and the other horses we've been working with, what I notice is that this horse is developing a lot of strength, but also a lot of flexibility along the range of motion of these muscles that don't often get worked because the leg is only being asked to travel in a front to back direction, and you're not getting a lot of this lateral movement. So these patterns are very effective at engaging those muscles to develop strength.
Would you do me a favor? If I'll take over doing the pattern, could you point out for the people on camera what's going on with these adductors and abductors?
Absolutely. Okay, so as he's stepping under, you see that his leg is coming towards his center line here. So that is creating strength. He's having to control the movement to bring that leg under. He's not just kind of willy-nilly swinging it under. He has to pick it up and place it under his center of gravity. As this leg goes underneath, he's also elongating the outside of the hip here, right? So he's creating strength on the inside and stretching on the outside. And he's getting a similar effect on this side because it's also moving laterally, but this is the primary moving leg in this pattern. When we switch patterns and then you've got the bend different, it's going to engage the muscles differently. But for this pattern specifically, the inside hind leg is the one that's getting the most movement. So again, moving in this direction, you can see he's picking up his right hind, placing it under the center of gravity. So he's using the muscles along the inside of his leg to be able to pick that leg up and place it underneath, while also elongating the outside of the hip. And what this does is it really frees up their hip joint, right? So that they can actually move the femur in the hip joint, which is a thing a lot of people also have trouble with. So he's going to have real free movement of his hind end, which is going to remove drag on his sacrum, which is this area up here, and allow his back to move more freely. So it's a chain, right? So if he's got a really free hind leg, it's going to affect the whole chain through the horse. But we were also talking about the link between strength and flexibility, and I think that was one of the revelations, was that strength and flexibility are two sides of the same coin. So this horse is developing control along the range of motion. It's not just that his leg has the ability to go inside outside passively, but this horse has the ability to pick up the leg and intentionally move it to the inside and place it down with control, which means that the muscles are able to elongate, and when muscles are able to elongate, they're also able to contract. And I think that a lot of people don't know that or have never thought about that, but you actually need to be able to lengthen a muscle in order to be able to contract it and generate force, which is what strength is the ability to generate force. So this horse is getting very flexible, but also very strong at the same time.
Sukie put this in a term that I could understand the other day very well, which was that, for example, I hadn't considered this, in order to get strength in a fist, you have to be able to open the fist in order to then close the fist to make the strength. If it's all balled up first, it's not going to be so strong.